So welcome to Manic Monday, episode 10, bonnet edition. So no, I have not been in the bed all day. I'm actually winding down after today. It's gonna be a busy week. My oldest is starting school, so I've been really busy just getting her ready for that and just preparing for the new schedule. So I apologize for my hiatus, but I'm back. Well, I left off with the friend that I made at high school, at the first high school I attended. So after we moved to the new high school my sophomore year, I met two girls in my PE class. Now, when I first started going to school there, PE was first hour. And if you know anything about high school schedules, first hour is like the very first class that you have. So, PE, I was late to a lot because, we had just moved. So, there was a lot of staying up late to unpack, cleaning dishes, just getting the new house together. In this particular day, I think it was like the second or third day there, I met these two girls in PE class. I was late, so as I'm arriving, everyone's already like lined up in their PE outfits, ready to go to gym. Now, before I met these girls, my gym class was consistent of, it's kind of like the first high school. So there was like a handful of like Caucasians. It was like maybe two or three like Hispanic people, and then I was like the only black girl. I think we had a couple black guys in the boys' locker room, but our PE wasn't co-ed. So like the boys would do their thing, and then the girls' PE class would do our own separate thing. So it was like hard for me. Like I was very nervous. I was having like flashbacks of what it was starting at the other school. And I'm just like, oh God, I'm either not going to make any friends or I'm going to have very few. So I wasn't very enthused. But when I saw them, I got excited because they were black too. So I'm like, yes, I have someone I can relate to, and I don't feel as alone. You know what I'm saying? So at first, I noticed that they were like very friendly with each other, and I didn't see them the first couple of days because they just weren't there. So I didn't even know that we had gym class together until that specific day. So in my mind, I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity to approach them, see what they're about, etc., etc. So I noticed they were like super gossipy, like they were the kind of friends that would like whisper to each other in public and like giggle, and like everybody around would be like, "What are they? What's so funny?" And then like the Hispanic people I mentioned, they didn't prefer to speak English, so they would click up in like a corner and like speak Spanish with one another. And then I'm friendly with everybody regardless of color, creed, race, age, all that. So I wave and I say hello to everybody when I enter PE class, like all the time. But I would get like either two or three responses or none. So I very quickly knew that it was going to be rough until I saw them. So we start PE, and one of the girls end up being my gym partner. We're going to name her Sarah. Me and Sarah are weightlifting together, and I just started asking her questions. She started asking me questions, and she turned out to have like a really goofy personality like I did. So we clicked really fast. She was very down to earth, and she seemed like she knew everybody. Like everybody spoke to her. Like she was cool with everybody. Some of the teachers too. So we instantly like clicked. And then we're gonna name the other girl Jamie. So Jamie walks up to us while me and Sarah are like getting to know each other, and I introduce myself to her, and we start talking and exchanging questions and stuff. And we was cool after that. Me and Sarah had a couple classes together aside from PE, and me and Jamie had a couple classes together as well. So we would like pass notes, so we can further get to know each other. And we just, all three of us just really came together really well. Like those were my homies. If you saw Sarah, you probably saw me in her locker, and if she wasn't at my locker, I was at her locker, that type of thing. Same thing with Jamie. Like, we were locker bouncing. There were times where I was holding Sarah's textbooks, or Sarah was holding my textbooks, or Jamie was holding, just back and forth. And then it accelerated to where they came over. They were one of the first couple of friends that I invited to my house. So, all three of us, we just became real cool. So now, mind you, now this is where the friendship line entangles with the relationship line. These friendships are going on at the same time that I'm talking to the guy that took my virginity. So this is like dual relationship building that's going on. So by the time February came around, Sarah ended up dating, like began talking to my brother. I don't think they ever officially dated, but they were like, entertaining it. And that's who we went on the double date with. So that night of the Valentine's party, I think it was, what did I explain this in, like episode 4 or 5? It was Sarah, my brother, me, and the guy that took my virginity. So that's how close we ended up becoming. By that summer, me and the guy that took my virginity were still kind of talking. Remember, before the big fair or whatever, we're still like hanging around him, my brother and I. And so one day, him talking to Sarah, we all end up, going to take a trip to the guy that took my virginity's house. So we're all in the car, smoking, chilling, kicking back, laughing about school, talking about summer break, how it's been so far and how it's going, what we want to do before it's over. And then the guy that took my virginity, he went in the house. He took my brother in the house, and they went to go do something in the house. I think it was like get something to drink, or I don't know, I forgot. But they left us in the car for like 5 or 10 minutes. So she looks at me and she's like, "So, are you guys still talking?" This is Sarah. And I'm like, on and off. Like, he's being like weird about it because of my brother, because he became close with my brother. So we'll talk sometimes, but I still have a crush on him. And she goes, "Oh, I have something to tell you." And I'm like, oh my God. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, I can't ever find a decent guy or be attracted to a decent guy, because I won't say that there aren't any decent guys. That's not true. But it's like I keep picking the bad ones, so I had like a moment. But I try to, have a poker face and not let it show. So I'm like, "What's up? Like, what is it? Is it my brother?" So, because there's so many things that it could be. She's like, "No, a while ago, he gave me head." And I'm like, "You're gonna tell me now?" And I've been talking to him since October, November of last year. We went on a double date, and you tell me now? That's what I said in my head, but out loud, I was like, "Dang, for real?" And she goes, "Yeah, it wasn't anything like romantic. Like, we didn't talk or anything. Like, we weren't like talking. We just like messed around a little bit, and that was it." And I'm just like, okay, I wonder why he hasn't told me, especially because we're becoming friends. So it was a moment of where I played like it was cool and like, wow, good thing I didn't date him. That's why I told her, like, "Oh, good thing I'm not his girlfriend." Like, what a stupid response. Like, why couldn't I just tell her, like, I feel like this about it and I'm going to ask him about it? But instead, I took her word for it, and that's what really made me fall back. I was hurt. I think around this time, he was pretty much considered like my favorite person. Like, I depended on seeing him. I was dependent on getting his approval on things. I was obsessed with his presence. Like, I wanted him around all the time, and I was happy. But it's like, if he wasn't around, then it's just like I was losing my mind. And this is a term in the BPD community, favorite person. And I believe at this time he was definitely my favorite person, because when she told me that, it's literally like a ton of bricks like fell on my heart. Like, it was just so bad. And we weren't dating. Like, he was like kind of entertaining it, but then he would curve me for a couple weeks, then he would entertain it, then he would curve me. It was that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So when she told me that, I was like, yeah, he betrayed me. He's done. And then the next story that I heard behind him was from Jamie. So me and Jamie are at the house hanging out. This is like the beginning of the school year. So this is after the big fair that I talked about in my last video. So me and her are starting to grow closer as well. She's over the house one day, just me and her. Sarah couldn't come or had something else to do, so she wasn't there. So it was just me and Jamie. Me and Jamie were having a heart-to-heart type of like hangout session. Usually we goof around, watch videos, eat snacks, talk about boys. But this hangout was like, we like really shared a lot of childhood trauma with each other, deep secrets. Like, we were really connecting. And this is when she goes like, I have to tell you something. And you know what? At this point, I'm getting like legit PTSD behind the freaking word or phrase, I have to tell you something, because it's never anything good. It's never followed by anything good. Even when my doctor said it. Like, Jesus, what is it now? And I'm like, what is it about? You know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about deep, dark stuff. And she goes, it's about that guy that you told me about at the fair. I didn't want to say anything because you just seemed really happy to be like talking to him and stuff. But, you know, what you said to me, like, reminded me of what my other friend said. My friend Peaches told me that he tried to like R-word her. Insert bruh. Because goddamn, like, if it is true, what the fuck? But if it's not true, it's like, what a hell of a accusation, you know what I'm saying? And I just, like, I felt so gross inside, because by this time, it was the fall, beginning of the fall of my junior year. So this is after that weird shit happened at the, you know, before the fair. So at this point, I had forgiven him for that. And, you know, I was on this high with him again. Like, my crush was growing bigger for him again after all of that happened. Because I was like, well, maybe he is interested. Maybe he's only pretending that he can't be with me because of my brother. Because why would he do that to me if he didn't really want me?
Oh, hell no!
But when she told me that, it was just like all that flew out the window. It's like I was right back in the low. I'm like, did I really just begin crushing on like a fist? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's fucked up. So I'm like damn near crying as she's like telling me the story that her friend told her. Because, I've been essayed before, so I like immediately, like, I was triggered. And I think we both ended up crying in that moment. We were just like hugging, like, wow, that's so crazy. I remember just like going into this state of like, I'm just gonna cold shoulder him and I don't want anything to do with him. And that obviously didn't work for long, because by December, like I said, this was probably in like September or August when she told me this. By December, we were already back in okay graces, like, because like I said, he was friends with my brother, so he was like around. So we were in okay graces. Like, he would sometimes flirt with me, but I just learned how to just like ignore it until that day happened where he approached me to take my virginity. And I don't know if this has something to do with the BPD, but I was just like what I wanted overrode everything that I knew, all of my logic, all of my morals. And I was like, wow, here's my chance. He knows how I feel about my virginity, so if I give it to him, maybe he'll marry me. I was that psychotic, like that fucking delusional, where I thought I just not one of the proudest moments, you know what I'm saying? Like, very much, you know, like, wow. But I wasn't, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I did eventually ask him about it. And I remember him saying something to the effect of where it was a misunderstanding. And when she did go to like file, charges or whatever, they were dropped.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
I never tried to look into it. Like, I got his story and I got the story that she gave my friends. So that's what I had. And I guess I made a decision, like, it has nothing to do with me. But being older now, looking back at it now, I realized like that should have been a red flag I paid attention to. She goes on, like, we're sharing stories about all aspects of our life. You know what I'm saying? After that day, I just felt like we were closer as friends. So I really trusted these two girls is what I'm trying to get at, because of the proximity that they were to me. So we even went to some dances together. Jamie didn't go to a few of them, but me and Sarah went to just about all of the dances. Our friendships were pretty stable until like the end of my junior year, beginning of my senior year. The relationships that I was holding at that time also had like a big effect on my friendships, like especially with Sarah, because Sarah got to meet a lot of the guys that I talked to, entertained, or dated. Jamie kind of did, but not so much. I more so hung out with Sarah more than I did Jamie. And she would meet a lot of these guys and just be like, girl, what the fuck are you doing? She was the honest friend. She was like the other friend a little bit, with her honesty. She was very blunt, which is another thing I really liked. So she wasn't afraid to tell me if I was like fucking up or if I needed to do better or, whatever. Like, she really knew me. I met her parents as well. She had an older sister that I was really cool with. We were damn near like sisters. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we were that close, me and Sarah. Jamie and I were close too. Don't get me wrong, and all three of us were really tight. But Sarah and I had like a different type of bond. Like, we had a super, super tight bond. And I want to say it was like senior year. The tension was really high between all three of us for like a lot of different reasons. But specifically, our friendship lasted throughout high school. Like, we graduated friends. And then when adult life came, I don't know, it's like that's when a lot of stuff shifted. But I also seen red flags with them in high school, like with Sarah. I noticed that she had like a temper problem. And so like sometimes she would take, like, if we got into it with each other, she would passive aggressively show that in other ways. So like for instance, one day the van was down or whatever, and she let me use her brother's car so we could get to school, and so my brother and I could get to work. I told y'all we was close. So I getting ready for school, the car's running, and I'm thinking everything's smooth. I go out, me and my brother goes to the car to get in and go to school. The keys are locked in the car. So legit, the car was running from like 7 that morning until like 12 o'clock the afternoon. Like, we had to force the window down. Then we had to get something to get the lock up. And the car's just running the entire time, not moving, just sitting idle, running, burning gas. My brother is pissed. He's like, yeah, what the fuck? I'm confused because I'm like, I do this with the van all the time and the doors don't lock. Like, I'm so lost. But it was an older car. I just didn't know enough about the car. And so when we get to school, she's pissed because I imagine she thinks we were like joyriding or like, doing something crazy in her brother's car. And I explained to her, like, no, the keys were locked. So, like, the deal was we drove the car home. We were supposed to pick her up for school. And then after school, she was going to drop us off in her brother's car. So we get to school late. She obviously had to get, take the bus or get a ride from her sister or whatever. And she's like, what the hell? This wasn't the plan, blah, 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 blah. So, I explained to her what's going on. And then I'm at work and she begins texting me like, there's something wrong with the car. What did you do to the car? And this was like she tried to frame it as like a running joke every time we would like go out or like be in front of a group of people. But she would say things that you don't say in a joke. Like we'll be like out laughing, cracking jokes, chilling with other people. And then she'll say something like, girl, shut up. You owe my brother a car. And, trying to embarrass me, but like in a hee hee ha ha way. And I'll just be like I'm a straight up person. I'll just ask her like, you still upset about that? Like you got a problem with that or something? Nah, I'm just playing. And then like a couple months went by and then she comes to school and she's like, oh, I just wanted to apologize. My brother said there's nothing wrong with his car. It's something with it was some part that was already like jacked up on the car. And like her brother knew that it was going to go down eventually. So it was just like, it was that, you know what I'm saying? Another thing was like, even though she didn't approve of all the guys that I dated, she put me on a couple of guys that I did like entertain, including her brother, who at the time was like 23, 22. And it's like, why was I 17, 18? No, I'm not even 18. Talking the beginning of my junior year, right? So I was like 17 and this man was like 22, 23, and she really like was like, hey, my brother like you. And that's just like what I mean. Like that's a scary part of my past. Like I was 16, 17, 18 dating older guys.
Y'all are going to jail!
That I had no business talking to, no business hanging out with. And some of these guys would hang around her and her sister. And that's how I would meet some of these older guys, like 20 years old, 19, 21, entertaining them as if they were actually interested in us in a serious way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm upset because I didn't have enough common sense at the time to protect myself. And of course my parents are like, well, we know her, and they met her brother and they liked him because he was soft spoken and he seemed very chill. He was very nice. He seemed very respectful, but he was too old. You know what I'm saying? And my stepdad sat down with him and okayed it. And it's like, why? You know what I'm saying? Because he has a car and he has a house and you're like ready to ship me off? Like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Me and her brother didn't work out because it was just weird. It was just weird. And maybe that'll be like another episode of its own or something. I don't even want to talk about it. It was weird. It was very weird. We never had intercourse, but we horseplayed. And it was so weird. It was very weird. And I remember when I broke it off, he was upset and she kind of gave me the cold shoulder. And I mean, I guess I get it because they're siblings, but it's at the same time, it's like I told her everything that was going on between me and her brother, like down to the dirty detail. And I don't know. It was weird to me that nobody else thought it was weird. And I began feeling very uncomfortable because of the things that he would do. And I really can't explain it. I think I was so, like, I think I regretted it so much. I just kind of like buried it in the back of my mind. But anyways, she was the source of that. And we also went to a lot of house parties together. There was one night, there was a party that was like age restricted. She didn't tell me. I drive all the way to town with no idea that this party requires ID. Everybody got one except me. Oh, I think you'll be okay. We can sneak you in. We can sneak you in. Now, mind you, I'm the transportation for like 85% of these house parties. My car is being used. I'm the DD. So I get there. She's like, just park. We're going to get in first and we're going to come back and get you. They come back like an hour after me sitting in the car with an ID that looks nothing like me. And they're like, here, use this to get in. And I'm like, no, that she's not even my skin tone. I'm not that big. Like, it's not going to work. Oh, well. And they go back in the party, leave me in the car for hours. And that was one of the last times that we hung out because I'm like, what the fuck is this? Not to mention, Sarah is the one that dropped me off to the soldier guy's house and left me there. Yes, little things like that, you know what I'm saying, that you wouldn't do to somebody you call your friend. And we were like close. We were close. We not just like okay friend. We were close. And so, again, I don't know if this has anything to do with the BPD, but you stab me an X amount of times, I'm going to start withdrawing myself more and more and more. And I'm not going to tell you why. You know what you did. You know what I'm saying? So senior year was rough because we had tension. That's what I want to say. We had tension, and there was tension between us and Jamie as well. Now, Jamie and Sarah had their own issues, and I can't speak on that because I don't know what that was, but there was some type of tension between them. So now Jamie she's drifting away from the three amigo thing we had going on. So now it's a lot of separate hanging out. It's me and Jamie, or it's me and Sarah. It's no longer me, Sarah, and Jamie. You know what I'm saying? Type thing. Like, I don't know what their tension was, but it got that thick during senior year. And there were even some times where Sarah would tell me things about Jamie. Jamie would tell me things about Sarah. Like mean mouthing each other just because they were upset with each other or whatever. And something happened big between them because they never ended up getting back close. But I thought that I had lasting friendships with them, even though we distanced ourselves senior year. So, like, me and Sarah were still going out. We were going to bars together every once in a while. Jamie moved away after I got pregnant because we were pregnant at the same time, and she, went off to make things work with the father of her child. And, I was going through my thing with my baby daddy. So it was just like life hit us hard, So after we both got pregnant, we drifted apart, and then I moved. So it was like that friendship was over with. But it turns out Jamie was the one that spilled the beans to that ex that I couldn't get over about my pregnancy when I left. So our friendship took a hard hit when I came back home. And then with Sarah, like I said, we were still going to bars and stuff. When she got pregnant, I can admit I fucked up. I was drunk. Her cousin was driving me home, and I spilled the beans about it. And she really distanced herself from me after that. She started being like really rough shouldered to me. She would only call me to like use me for stuff. And then Sarah was the one that had the group chat that was taking captures of my Snapchat to make fun of me in a group chat. So it was like, after that happened, I pretty much kissed my friendship with Sarah goodbye, but my friendship with Jamie was still hanging on a string. Now enter me and this ex that I couldn't leave alone. We're still on and off. During one of our on times, I see Jamie in his inbox. Hey guys, I'm sitting here recording, and I just thought I would add in a tidbit that I forgot to mention while I was recording. When I was dating that ex that I caught Jamie inboxing, everybody disliked me with him. Not only my family, but Jamie especially. Like, she expressed the most hatred like towards our relationship. I remember one day when she was over at the house, we were hanging out, and she said something to the effect of, one of my friends texted me and told me that your boyfriend has, is cheating on you. He's hitting on them and he's having sex with them. And so, I'm asking her, like, who is the girl? Show me the messages. And she just kept acting funny, like, oh, I don't have the messages anymore. Or this, I don't want to show you because it's going to hurt you. She was acting like she couldn't show me. And so I was just basically like, well, until I see proof, I'm not going to believe you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was basically like, I want proof that he's cheating on me. Like, you can't just say he's cheating on me and not produce the evidence. Like, where are the messages that this girl sent you? So she didn't have any receipts. About 5 or 10 minutes later, like, we're on the couch chilling, I get a text from a Google number. Hey, this is the girl that Jamie told you about. I'm sleeping with your boyfriend and I thought you should know. So I show her the message and I'm like, weren't you just telling me about this? And she falls out laughing, like maniacal laughter, like hee hee ha ha. She's dying, like, and I'm confused, like, why would you think this is funny? And like, what the fuck is going on? So then she goes, oh, that was me, it's a joke. And then she showed me the text now number that she created just to send me that message. Like, that was so fucking weird to me, but it never stood out to me as like, I need to watch her, and it should have. I'm like, what the hell? So I approach her about it and she's like, oh, I'll insert the screenshots if I can find them. But she was basically like, you wouldn't let me and my baby daddy and my kid move in with you. So yeah, I tried to hurt you and fuck with your ex-boyfriend. But you're in a relationship. And I said you and your child could move in, but your baby daddy couldn't. So I didn't tell y'all no. I told him no. So like, that was fucked up to me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like I wasn't trying to help. Like I said, you and your baby could come, but he can't. And that wasn't something that she wanted to do. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like that, like both of them, like pretty much burned the bridges with me. I do miss our closeness because those were the last group of friends I really gave a chance. Been able to let anybody in, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, me and Jamie hung out after like the first couple months after high school. And it turns out she knew the roommate of the soldier guy and they were dating. So, funny how the world works, right? And come to find out, she had been rumoring and gossiping about me to them, because he had moved away and dropped me like a hot potato. But she was talking to his old roommate and like pretty much filling him in on everything I was doing after high school. Like, I thought that was so weird. So it turns out she was like, both of them like to talk behind my back, you know what I'm saying? But play in my face like we were cool. So it's, I don't know, I'm pretty sure my BPD characteristics played a part, but god damn, did I really deserve all that? Like, but that's gonna conclude episode 10. I know it sounded like a ramble, but like I said, my memories aren't all there, and I'm trying to keep, stitching together as best as I can. So episode 11, I think I am going to jump back into the romantic storyline because I don't have any more significant friends after these two, and a few others, but I didn't have any bad experiences with the other people. I just, I went antisocial after high school. So thanks for tuning in. Come back for episode 11.